make the most of your education, definitely, and do things that you might not. You might be totally focused, like I was on engineering and physics and maths and all that sort of stuff. Learn more languages. Whether in my day I would have said to myself, go and learn German, and probably these days I would say go and learn Chinese. Make sure you learn Chinese at school, because that's going to be in the next 50 years. It's going to be a huge thing. You look at the number of Chinese car companies that are coming up right now, and particularly in the EV space, the Chinese are light years ahead of everyone else. And that's just because of the amount of money that was invested in it. And so there are so many more cars and the buses. I can't remember the exact statistics. I'm not going to quote it, but they're adding more electric buses in one city in China than practically the whole of Europe is doing. It's crazy. I mean, the amount of, they've realised this is the way to go, and they're spending time. There's a reason why the Chinese are dominating in the supply of battery and motor chemicals and materials. It's not because they have all of them. I mean, in some cases they do have a good proportion of but it's about the production and refining. Because they've spent the money on it, other people a few years ago, let the mines for all these materials just fall by the wayside because the Chinese were making lots of money out of it and no one really needed them anyway. And all of a sudden, they're all desperately trying to dig up lithium and get it out of salt flats and all the other places that lithium comes from, or cobalt, or other rare earth. Not cobalt's not rare earth, but rare earths that are needed, you're looking at neodymium, dysprosium, all these other things that come out of China. Well, they don't actually. There's plenty of mines all over the world that develop it, but that can get these materials, but we've not developed them, or we've allowed them to close. So I think that will change, and people will invest in these things. But for right now, China's really putting the money where the mouth is, and they're making a big change in how their world's. And I think the next 5 years, or even the next 2 or 3 years, actually, you'll see an awful lot of Chinese cars coming up for sale onto the European market in a way that probably more reflects what was happening. I guess when I was a kid, Japanese cars were very new in the 70s and 80s. Japanese cars were initially seen as being, unreliable, not British cars and the rest of it. And then all of a sudden they gained this amazing and justly reputation for being incredibly reliable and very well engineered, which all through the 80s and 90s established that brand of Japanese cars. And I think China's very much in the same place right now. I think, particularly with EVs. So go and learn Chinese. It's a very long way to say, go and learn Chinese now. Yeah.